I'm sorry, and I know this is going to make people mad, but somewhere around COVID, half the population decided employment was optional. And before y'all start typing angry comments, I know some people work hard, but somewhere along the line, customer service became annoyed sighing, vaping in the stock room, and disappearing completely the second another customer walks in. All right, let's get comfortable then, because we're about to talk about all the stuff that you're afraid to say out loud for whatever reason. I've been a daughter, a mother, a grandmother, a wife, even a professional eye roller, and occasionally, probably the reason somebody might have needed some therapy. I've survived heartbreak, chaos, raising kids, getting older, losing people I loved, many people, and modern technology that still asks me for passwords I don't remember. I'm never going to remember them. One minute life is loud and messy and overwhelming, and the next thing you know, you're staring at old photographs, wondering where the years went, or looking in a mirror wondering who that old woman is. But around here, we tell the truth about life. The funny parts, the painful parts, and the questions maybe you've been too embarrassed to ask somewhere else, because somewhere along the way, you started wondering if something was wrong with you. Oh, honey, you spend 10 minutes with me and you're going to realize just how normal you really are. Now, let's get into this mess. Hey there, mama bears and professional eye rollers. Can we talk about what in the entire workforce happened after COVID? Because I swear, before the pandemic, people used to at least pretend to want a job. Now, half the country applies for work with the enthusiasm of a hostage victim. And don't get me wrong, I understand. People got burned out. I understand that. A lot of folks got overworked and underpaid, stressed out, and treated horribly during COVID. I get that part. But somewhere along the line, we went from people deserve better working conditions to nobody wants to work past orientation. That's a fact. At this point, businesses are basically hiring employees the same way divorced people date online. They're desperate, they're emotionally exhausted, and fully expecting disappointment right when they start. You can walk into a restaurant now and immediately know nobody there plans to stay longer than 11 minutes. The hostess looks traumatized, the cook's vaping behind the dumpster, the cashier has AirPods in pretending customers don't exist. And somewhere in the back is a manager stress-eating Tums and updating Indeed for the 47th time this month. Guarantee it. And what is with this generation quitting the second something becomes mildly inconvenient? Honey, we had jobs we hated too. You think older generations enjoyed work? We sure didn't enjoy our entry-level jobs, that's for sure. Please. We just understood things like electricity, groceries, mortgages, and not living under a bridge. Back in the day, if your boss annoyed you, you complained in the car ride home and went right back to work the next morning because you had bills. Now somebody gets asked to refill napkins, and suddenly it's I'm setting boundaries for my mental health. Sir, you work at Applebee's. Applebee's. And can we discuss the disappearing employee epidemic? Because businesses now act genuinely shocked when somebody actually comes to work consistently. If a worker shows up on time, bathes regularly, stays off TikTok for at least 14 consecutive minutes, and doesn't quit after payday, they immediately get promoted to assistant regional manager. It's a rarity. I swear, people don't even resign properly anymore. Nobody gives notices. They just vanish like a missing persons case. One minute they're stocking shelves. Next minute, Cheryl from payroll is asking, has anybody seen Brandon? I mean, no, Cheryl. Brandon got his first paycheck, which is all he was really here for, and evaporated into the atmosphere. The sad thing is the people who do still work hard are exhausted because now they're doing their job, two missing employees' jobs, and emotionally supporting management while they all slowly collapse together. And before somebody gets offended, yes, there are still hardworking young people out there, absolutely. Some young adults are busting their tails trying to survive in an economy that feels impossible. This isn't about everybody. This is about the growing number of people who think basic responsibility is oppression, effort's optional, and every inconvenience is toxic. And social media absolutely made it worse, because now everybody thinks they're one manifestation away from becoming a millionaire influencer who sells courses, reviews lip gloss, or dances beside motivational quotes. Meanwhile, the rest of us still need somebody to answer phones, fix plumbing, stock shelves, deliver food, and explain why self-checkout keeps screaming unexpectedly. And I'm sorry, but if your career path involves filming yourself pointing at floating words while inspirational music plays, that is not the economical backbone of America. I'm retired. I'm old. I'm just trying to share what I've learned through the years with you. I'm not going to be a millionaire. Now listen, I do think workers deserve fair pay, respect, balance, and humane treatment. Absolutely. But I also think discipline matters. Responsibility matters. Learning how to do difficult things matters. And sometimes adulthood means showing up even when you don't feel like it. Because that's life. That's life. Part of me worries what happens long term if everybody keeps chasing easy. Because easy rarely builds anything meaningful. The people I admire most in life are usually the ones who kept going, worked hard, survived difficult seasons. They're honest. They handle responsibilities even when they were exhausted. That's character. People that have good character. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am from the generation where we went to work sick, tired, heartbroken, hormonal, sleep deprived, and fueled almost entirely by caffeine and spite. That's how I grew up. And somehow civilization survived. We aren't traumatized here. Meanwhile, Grammie Tammy's going to be over here watching businesses celebrate employees for simply arriving on time, apparently, wondering if quiet quitting is just a fancy new phrase for being lazy, and trying not to lose my mind while hearing nobody wants to work anymore for the 937th time this week, with a cold Diet Coke and enough work ethic left to personally frighten a 22-year-old. And don't get me wrong, the irony is not escaping me that I'm sitting here on YouTube talking about this. But I'm not doing this for a job. I do this because I genuinely care about people. I care about society as a whole. If there's somebody out there that's as frustrated and upset or scared as I am some days, I want them to know they're not alone. There's not a lot I can do to help. I understand I'm past my prime. But if this helps one person, If you feel not so alone, if these things are frustrating you, then I've done a good thing. You guys take care out there. We'll talk more later. I love y'all.
Quiet and speaking her mind. Now she stands where she belongs, right in her truth where she's been all along. She's rolling with Tammy, loud and free, saying what you think but don't wanna be. No filter, no fuss, no let me be nice. She said what she said and she said it twice. She ain't here to play, she